queened a pawn and I still managed to beat them. Quite an unusual game. This unusual opening. Quite chaotic.
Check.
And I took the opportunity to try to get the queen before it was marked by any other piece so that his king would have to move.
Kingside Castle E.
And then proceed to put the rook onto that file. And now we're going to pin that bishop. The idea is to try and win a piece here. So I'm having to mount more artillery onto that c5 square for pinning that bishop, to grab that bishop in exchange for a pawn. So more and more. In fact, if we go back a little way, he actually gave me an opportunity there, and that move there was in order to try and fork those two pieces, but he saw that and got that one back, but that doesn't stop that from happening. And now, after this, the bishop goes. I could have also exchanged the knight, but I prefer to leave the tension there, so I'm a piece up now. I've got another check there potentially, or just take with the knight. So now I have to bring my knight out so I can get my bishop onto this crucial square for checking him.
Check.
But he blocks with the pawn, unfortunately. However, this is a mistake because now I've got a free pawn. And now I've got two rooks and he has only got one of each piece. So he can't connect those rooks to each other, which substantially makes a difference to their effectiveness. So he tries to sort my rooks out here. In fact, I probably should have moved here because if he takes that pawn, I think this is mate.
Checkmate.
But I didn't. I went and grabbed that pawn. Didn't see that checkmate. And also had designs of getting my rooks up here. Now he gets his pawn on the move, and this is the danger, that he's going to queen that pawn, you see. Doesn't matter how many rooks or pieces I've got if he queens that pawn. I can ignore the attack on my rook there for a moment, although I think in reality I didn't see it, because I've got check here. And now, by now I had seen it and escaped onto that dark square. And again, check there. I'm not sure if I had a forced mate situation here. I might have done. I might have had one here. Not sure. Yeah, don't know. Where did he go?
Check.
So he goes between my rooks. So I've got the option I can push him up or push him down once I've got my rooks back together. But I decided to bring the knight in. It just means there's much more chance of a checkmate. That extra piece covering potentially the dark squares where the bishop can't. We end up exchanging knights. I thought that was fair because the knights are quite dangerous to your rooks at the end of the game. And now I'm unassailable to his bishop there, kind of. But if I can add one to the mix, I can add the pawn.
Check.
Maybe would have been better to check with the bishop, force the exchange of the bishop. Oh no, it wouldn't have forced it. No, because the knight, it would have taken the
check.
Yes, it has to be done like this. So what have we got now? What are we looking at now? We're looking at. Yeah, I think this is where I had a forced mate. But I can't find it again now. There is one here somewhere.
Check.
I think he has to go to the right for the forced mate to work. If he goes left, I'm not quite sure if there is one.
Check.
Maybe not.
Check.
So anyway.
Check.
Where did we get to? Attacking his bishop. And I decided I've got to push my pawn as well if he's going to push his. And I let the rook go for the bishop because I thought I'm still a piece up, but I do have to stop this pawn from queening, so we did this, and I was too late to stop it there. Would have been prepared to let it go in exchange for the bishop, but
Promotion to queen.
here's where it gets a bit weird. Because I've actually, by looking as if I'm chasing the pawn with that bishop, I might have disguised this check that's kind of sitting there. And because after check here,
Check.
he pushes me over here, and obviously I stay here this way so that his rook can't come down. But now if you look, he can't do any forks to grab my rook, because that you would use the bishop's diagonal for that. My bishop's got that diagonal. I suppose in theory he could get hold of my bishop somehow. He probably ought to be trying to stay on dark squares and maybe check me here,
Check.
something like this. Maybe something like that is what he should have done. But he didn't. He did the obvious
Check.
here. Staying on the dark squares to stay away from the bishop, but here's what I've got, look.
Check.
Check by return, and after he moves, in fact he could have taken that pawn, I got his queen back straight away. And even more bizarrely, he's set himself up
Checkmate.
to instamate. So that was very satisfying to get that after the queen.